Sorry if the noise has been a little distorted over the last couple of sessions that I had. I've just been kind of playing around with some of these softwares on my computer and kind of getting used to it. Anyhow, I got my GarageBand up and running, recording to GarageBand, and I am also screen recording for YouTube as well, which is cool. Pretty dope. Love this stuff. So I'm going to pull up a few articles here. I have 4 articles I'm going to be talking about with you guys, and let's get into it. Welcome back to SEWCT. I'm Chef T, your host. We are going to be talking about, in this first article found on Business Insider, even before the pandemic, American kids were eating more fast food than ever before, says news study. We're going to move along to another article I found on theguardian.com. After Eat Out to Help Out, many restaurants will still face disaster. It's a shame, guys. Just seeing all these small businesses just fall apart because of this pandemic and other unnecessary things that's being presented to the American people. Next article is found on foodnavigator.com. 4 ways food tech can lead to more resilient and sustainable food systems. Now, you know I love talking about food technology. I was going to say food tech, but same thing. Food tech, food technology, however you want to look at that. Love talking about it. Love to see how our technology is going to just, I guess, reshape the world, hopefully in a more sustainable way, especially dealing with our food and not only the food industry, but many of the industries that we are used to dealing with regularly in our lives, like driving a car, transportation, and how that's all going to be changed with technology, hopefully for the better. Moving on to, lastly, some crypto news for you guys, actually related to food. IOTA Foundation contributes to Techstart Food Project in Brazil. Pretty cool stuff today. We're going to be talking about it. Let's get into it. So back here on Business Insider, even before the pandemic, American kids were eating more fast food than ever before, says new study. Now, this came out about 3 hours ago, actually, so it's pretty new. I'm going to scroll down into our article. I'm not going to read everything. I'm going to try to just, highlight the important parts of it. But as a reminder, all the links to all of my articles will be in the podcast description as well as the YouTube video. American children and adolescents are eating more fast food than ever before, but just how much varies greatly by age and ethnicity. A report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has revealed. The report found that children and adolescents got an average of 13.8% of their daily calories from fast food between 2015 and 2018. The previous figure from 2011 to 2012 was 12.4%. The study also shows older children consume a higher proportion of calories from fast food. Children aged 2 to 11 get 11.5% of their daily calories from fast food, rising to 18% for those aged 12 to 19. Black and Hispanic children eat more fast food than white kids, the report said. More than a third of American children eat fast food on any given day, the report said. The CDC report is based on data from the most recent National Health and Nutritional Examination Survey in 2018, meaning it doesn't take the effects of the pandemic into account. But by all indications, American diets have moved more towards convenient and affordable foods in recent months. During lockdown, the sales of many fast food products have skyrocketed, with hot dog sales increasing by more than 120% in March year on year. However, it isn't just comfort cravings that are causing Americans to eat more unhealthy food. People have less time and money to invest in cooking nutritious meals during the pandemic. More jobs have been lost than at any time since the Great Depression. Grocery prices, which rose by about 3.6% from April to July, may have also contributed to increased fast food consumption. It isn't just the price that makes fast food attractive. Parents are juggling working and looking after their kids who are spending more time at home. The American Camp Association says 80% of overnight camps and 40% of the day camps have remained shut this summer because of the lockdown. These time-strapped Americans are turning to convenience of takeout food, and many delivery services are soaring. Domino's reported U.S. same-store sales rose by 16% in the second quarter of 2020, and in the first half of the year generated $240 million in net income, 30% than in 2019. In the UK, there are similar concerns that obesity rates will rise because of the pandemic. The support of hospitality industry, the government introduced the Eat Out to Help Out in August, where diners at eligible restaurants, cafes, and bars can receive 50% off the cost of their meal. This is subsidized by the government. The offer was used more than 64 million times within the first 3 weeks. So UK Chancellor Rishi Sunak said that this program is supporting nearly 2 million employees in the hospitality sector. However, fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, KFC are eligible for this program. This has brought widespread concern that it will accelerate UK obesity rates, with the National Obesity Forum arguing that it would be a green light to promote junk food. Let's move on. Again, businessinsider.com is where this article is coming from. The link is going to be in the podcast and YouTube video description. Moving on to theguardian.com. After Eat Out to Help Out, many restaurants will still face disaster. A busy August was a welcome boost for many, but the coming months will bring eviction and job losses, which is extremely scary for the American people. The government has treated the pandemic as a political campaign. Given the choice between style and substance, it has opted at every turn for big, splashy gestures, lurching from one gimmicky announcement to the next. But unlike many of its responses to the COVID-19 crisis, the Eat Out to Help Out scheme launched by the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, I'm sorry if I'm sort of butchering that name, has been a remarkable PR hit with the British population. More than 60 discounted meals have been claimed as part of the scheme. The trade body UK Hospitality is calling for it to be extended, and some restaurants are funding their own discounts into September in a bid to keep footfall going. But while every Eat Out to Help Out restaurant participant they've spoken to has been grateful for the short-term boost, many have also been doubtful it has done enough to confront the deepening crisis the hospitality industry faces. So basically, it's quick cash injection that offers little indication of whether the participants' restaurants will still be valuable businesses come September, which is literally in a couple of days. Is it a couple of days? Today's the 30th. Yeah, it's here, pretty much. So yeah, cash injections that offer little indications of whether participants' restaurants will still pretty much need this help going into September. It's great that consumers are feeling more comfortable coming out to eat, and which everyone appreciates the help from the government. But happy it's done now, and they don't want to be they're saying, I don't want it to be extended. Mandy Ying, chef owner of Sambal Laksa Bar and Nasi Economy Rice in North London, tells the interviewer, after getting a pavement license from the council that meant people could eat takeout food outside, Ying signed up for Eat Out to help out, the scheme that has dramatically boosted trade. And Sambal Shayak, it was probably about the same, but Ying doesn't feel that it has been sustainable. So there's some, basically it seems like some people agree with it, other people don't, for their own personal reason and probably their own research. And who knows, behind doors, what they're dealing with on a higher scale that's not being discussed. Anyhow, being too busy might sound like a welcome problem after months of no dinners at all. The August footfall has had an impact on the mental and physical health of restaurant staff. After a quiet summer period, understaffed kitchen have been belugged with orders, and front of house teams are struggling to keep diners happy while carrying out safety protocols to social distancing. So a lot of struggle still, it seems like, not only here in the US, but all across the world in the restaurant industry. And I hope over the next upcoming months, weeks, this could start to slowly resolve itself. So this is found on theguardian.com. Link is also in the podcast description and video description. Let's move on. Foodnavigator.com. 4 ways food tech can lead to more resilient and sustainable food systems. Let's get into this. I'm loving this. The COVID era has created a new sense of urgency, said Falk, who is a general partner at the U.S. venture capital fund Revel Partners and CEO of eValue, and who primarily invest in European American companies in the growth phase. So culture meat, so it looks like they list out actually a few different things here. Pretty much 5 main things that you and I would see change and continue change in these areas. So I've mentioned culture meat, meat being made in the lab. I know sounds probably weird, and I don't know, something you're probably not interested in. But I do see both sides for sure. I find it to be really fascinating that you can develop meat in the lab and it can taste extremely close to the actual food. So culture meat, food tech definitely has the potential to solve many of our most pressing problems around food. Stress, the German entrepreneur, producing enough food to feed the planet while keeping the environmental impact to a minimum is one of the greatest challenges facing the food sector. One solution is this challenge is lab-grown meat, and although a dynamic sector, it is still a nascent one, grappling with the question marks over scalability, its own potential energy footprint, and consumer accessibility. This technology is now starting to reach maturity, noted Falk. While early methods involve fetal bovine serum, there are now ways to produce cultured meats that do not depend on it. The sector is usually dynamic, he said, pointing to KFC's recent partnership with Russian company 3D Bioprinting Solutions to develop bioprinted lab-grown chicken. That sounds crazy. Folk acknowledged the criticism of lab meat. For example, Professor Jean Francos from the French National Institute of Agricultural Research has claimed that artificial meat may result in a decline of water quality, since the process would need to produce huge amounts of chemical and organic molecules, such as hormones and growth factors, to add to the culture medium in order to grow the meat. Another limiting factor of this technology is its energy consumption. The environmental impact of lab-grown meat, therefore, largely depends on how the energy is generated. But folk believes that provided that electricity is supplied using sustainable methods, lab-grown meat will represent a big step towards a more ethical, green, and scalable meat production. So he goes on also that the meat alternative and culture meat offer a solution to the extensive land use, including crops to feed livestock and traditional agriculture, and can support the movement for a more ethical treatment in animals. So that's interesting. I still find this to be really interesting about culture meats. They go on to talk about also vertical farming. Vertical farming is another innovation set to assess the food sector in its attempt to discover the most effective ways through which to minimize the land use in densely populated areas. They talk about circular agriculture. Food tech is also starting to make agriculture more circular, he added. There are now ways to turn waste products from the food industry into greener fertilizer. For instance, Green Lab Berlin sells a natural fertilizer made from cacao. Isn't that pretty dope? It's like we are using our food to create sustainability. I'm loving this. I am also, I'm interested to see how, like, the hemp industry, how that industry will grow, and if it will get to a point of using what is it? Is it bio hemp fuel or something like that? Essentially, you're taking hemp and you're making fuel, which is supposed to be more sustainable. So that. I'm so fascinated. I mean, they use hemp for many things, fuel, besides fuel, paper, clothes. So exciting times, scary and exciting, but hopefully the exciting will weigh some of the, will be higher, create the balance is not quite what I was looking for, but you get the point. Let's move on. So circular agriculture. So for instance, Green Lab Berlin sells a natural fertilizer made from cacao, like I was stating. Concepts of this kind are interesting, not just because they use resources that would otherwise go to waste, but because fertilizer has long been one of the greatest threats to clean water. He elaborated bio fertilizers such as this one can help preserve clean water and healthy soil for the future generation, guys. So the next one is AI diagnostics. So AI, as we all know, is becoming a huge thing, and I think in this decade, this new decade that we're in, we're going to see some tremendous changes. We're starting to see it now. Like, some companies are using AI to talk back to you, text to communicate through text, and it's getting pretty sophisticated, and it will probably happen faster since we already have the internet. And you think about all the content that's being created on the internet, that all comes together to help create, I call it the brain of the bigger robot, the AI system. Anyhow, not saying this article is not even, that's just me talking. So AI diagnostics, folk also pointing to an AI-driven diagnostics solution, which allows farmers to survey their crops and detect plant disease early on, while others provide fish diagnostics tools to help reduce fish loss. The opportunities in this field are manifold, and we can expect to see more innovation and disruption from exciting startups in the years to come. And I think we're starting to see it now. And what really accelerated it with many of the technology that we're starting to see come to the forefront now is the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. Let's move on. So lastly, we're talking about crypto. This article found on cryptonewsflash.com. IOTA Foundation contributes to Tech Start Food Project in Brazil. So this is actually, this article actually came out on August 30th. So the IOTA Foundation is contributing to the Tech Start Food Innovation Project in Brazil, which promotes startups in the field of innovation solutions for the food supply chain. The project is led by Venture Hub, Food Ventures, a bunch of food ventures, and ITAL. The concrete role of IOTA Foundation within the project is currently unknown. So as the IOTA Foundation already announced on Friday via Twitter, it will contribute to the Tech Start Food Innovation Project in Brazil. This has announced at the end of May by the Venture Hub, Food Venture, and ITAL, like I was saying, to initiate innovation in the food sector throughout the entire supply chain. In detail, the project focuses on the development and technological promotion of digital solutions for the ingredients, food, beverage, and packaging chain, supports startups and projects, and establishes links with investors and companies. A startup interested in participating in TechStart Food Innovations can submit proposal for solutions to 8 different subjects. These are following areas that they're talking about here. So new ways of consumption, safety and distribution, waste and sustainability, big data, forecast and market information, packaging solution, new ingredients, biodiversity, products and processes, plant-based food, healthier solutions, and the integral use of raw materials. So according to Alvaro Dorit, president of Conexa, I think is how you say it, sorry. The opportunities for the participant range from changing corporate culture and processes to investing in new companies. In addition, the participating startup will receive infrastructural support from one of the most recognized institutions in the food chain, the Institution of Food Technology, ITAL, which is supported by Informatica. So the IOTA Foundation is doing some great things in this sector. You know, I've mentioned VeChain. Guys, if you want to read more, the link is going to be in the podcast description here for cryptonewsflash.com talking about IOTA. So yeah, a lot of changes in this area. So it's the food industry, shall I say. I spoke about VeChain, like I said, in previous podcasts and videos, and they are making some great changes in the food industry as well. So it's really interesting. Like I said, I'm excited when it comes to technology creating sustainability. And my concern is always, you want to make sure they're doing the right things, that it is while they're creating sustainability and creating a healthier lifestyle for the human culture. So that's really important. So let's see where everything is going. Always stay educated, guys. Just don't take it from me reading these articles. Continue to research on your own as well. Use those links to kind of venture out in some of these areas where there could be a little bit of curiosity. So seek and you should find. Guys, I'm Chef T. Thanks for joining me right here on SEWCT. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.